Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. The first carry now. This is Alvin Kamara. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down. The Jets will bring in a nickel set as they try to stop this 3rd down.
Hey, box drop.
Now this time, Allen will throw. He's got Evans. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
1st down, and they're going to throw with Allen. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Sacked there by Avery Williamson, the linebacker.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes. And just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, the quarterback's been getting hit a lot.
And that's caught inside the 30. And all the way home for a Bills touchdown. Mike Evans, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive. Kaimi Fairbairn on for the extra point. And it's 7-0 Buffalo. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
Here we go.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win 1st down. You win 2nd down. And guess what? You start accumulating 1st downs, and that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Garoppolo. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact, no call, and it's 3rd down.
And it is true. You can draft the fastest. You can draft the most athletic guys. But if they don't know the art of positioning, sometimes it's all for naught. In this case, in the right spot, helped force the incompletion.
Yeah, but had his hands on it for a second. Would have been a tough catch, though. Falls incomplete. Now Garoppolo. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. And he's able to get it back to the 41-yard line.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
They try and run on 1st down, but to no avail. Tackled for a 2-yard loss in the backfield.
That's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible to something a little more advantageous.
The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Recon, 132 fighter. Pass 85, pass 85. Watch out.
Allen from the gun on 3rd down. Well, the 2 men come together, and it's incomplete. Excellent work defensively, brings up 4th down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. Way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. And the lead moves to 10-zip. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces them to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you've got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
They'll run on 1st down. It's Vaughn. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. He'll get 4 yards on the carry there, and we will get to the end of the first quarter of play. 10-0 the score after 1 on EA Sports.
Here we go. Wait, 80!
From the 29, Garoppolo. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
It's easy to see when we review this that the ball needs to come out quicker because if you don't throw it right on the break, you bring a crowd of people into the equation.
And that's why it got knocked away there. Garoppolo looks to throw. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. And unable to connect. Incomplete. Now, give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
The Bills take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Allen. And this one's incomplete. Mike Evans, the one he was looking for. And now it's 2nd down.
Well, he kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Airing this one out for Evans. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's 4th down.
But one thing's for sure, when you get a big receiver and you trust him downfield, you're going to give him opportunities to go up and get that 50-50 ball.
And he is a darn good big receiver. Unfortunately, that time didn't work out. Nice job defensively.
Come on, baby. Let's go. 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line.
Here we go.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star, a veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off. Throwing on 2nd and 14. Garoppolo got his man, Robbie Anderson. And he's able to get this one all the way past the 30. 22 yards there, a 1st down. Here's Garoppolo on 1st and 10. That one complete to Anderson. It'll go as a gain of 11 and a Jets first down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
No gain on the screen there. It's second down.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. On play action, now Garoppolo. Being chased out left. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that. And thus far, they've been successful.
Throwing is Garoppolo on third down. Airing it out, looking for Ridley. And that'll be incomplete. Now, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's fourth down.
It's always a goal, and it's really nice defensively when you can rally to the football and make sure there's enough contact to force an incompletion.
Force an incompletion and force another punt. Oh, boy, he fielded it right on the goal line. So they'll play the field position game here as a very nice punt is going to pin them back.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a game of tennis, or do you prefer ping pong? You know, back and forth like that? That definitely was excellent, wasn't it?
They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. And they'll get him down up past the 15-yard line. 11 yards and a Buffalo first down. We've hit the 2-minute mark of the first half. 10-0 our score. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. A quick throw out right here. He's got it complete. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
Well, the stats that matter on this play don't help a team very much unless, of course, you're playing defense.
If you're getting points per reception, you got a reception, but no yardage. Great job by the defense, though. They read through that one.
They read through it, gave up no yardage, and people got credit for tackles. Pretty good deal.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. He was trying to get it to his running back, Alvin Kamara, and that'll make it third down.
Mike, number 53. Mike, 53. Hey, tight. Let's go. We got this.
So the shotgun snap to Allen. He finds his target. It's Evans. Now the Bills are going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now Allen again. That's complete to his running back, Kamara. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. That is now 19-yard gains on back-to-back plays. Now a first down carry. It's Kamara. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. Now the Bills will use the second of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. On 2nd and 11 now. Allen. And he fires one that's intercepted. Marcus May with a pick. And he'll return this ball across midfield to the 47-yard line. He had a little bit of the turnover bug last week, 3 interceptions. Not an absolute disaster, but another one here. Do you start to get a little worried?
You worry about your team as a whole because you have to find a way to make those interceptions, quote-unquote, go away, and that means your defense. They've got to go out there on sudden change and at least hold people to field goals, and if that keeps happening, they lose confidence in the quarterback, and then no one plays well.
Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Micah Hyde.
The good old cover 3 defense, partner. When you start playing football as a safety, that's the first thing you're taught. Middle of the field, be as deep as the deepest receiver in any zone, and break on the football when it's thrown and pick it off, just as we saw there.
Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive. You've got under a minute to go here until halftime. You got the good-sized lead. No need to do anything crazy.
No, there really is no need to do anything crazy. The smart play, go ahead and take your lead into the locker room and then try and add to it in the second half. But there's a part of me that looks at this and says, first half going my way, I have a little bit of a cushion. Let's go ahead and try and extend things. If you've got some good plays drawn up,
oh, Allen cannot get away, and down he goes. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Now Allen. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And this is, oh my goodness, he pulled it in one-handed. So we have reached halftime with our score 10-0. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, Bills with the lead, and they'll get the football first as the second half is underway. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire half.
And now this is intercepted. My goodness. He's picked off near his own 48. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
10 yards is the pickup, good enough for a Jet first down.
Here we go.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. They fake the give. Now Garoppolo looks to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Picked off by Micah Hyde. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
So after the INT, it's Allen. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. C.J. Mosley, the linebacker, making sure his presence is felt. And they brought the pressure there just right up the gut, didn't they?
Yeah, they certainly did. And, you know, when you've got so many different responsibilities as an offensive line, you got to deal with the nose tackle, the 2 defensive tackles or ends, and then sometimes you just can't account for everyone. The linebacker slipped free.
Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Look at the spin.
Balance.
And he is into the end zone for a Buffalo touchdown. Alvin Kamara, his first touchdown on the year. And the Bills will add on to their lead. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
Fairbairn good with the extra point. And that makes our score 17-0. This will be taken in at the 1. not a bad return. Here he gets it out to the 25-yard line.
At their own 25-yard line.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, if I was in a quarterback, the number 4 is kind of, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. 2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. Now the throw pulled in by Anderson. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Found his target, it's Anderson. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. That goes as a gain of 36 on 3rd down.
Here we go.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Garoppolo looks to throw once more. And that's incomplete. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense has spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
Another throw on 2nd down, and this one incomplete as well. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Again, they'll throw with Garoppolo. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. He was looking for a Nunwa there. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the 2nd week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. On the ground, this is Kamara. And an alley to run. And able to get it across the 20 before they get to it. 11 yards and a Buffalo 1st down.
Yeah, another good run there. He's been such a big part of their success here this afternoon. And that last carry, it puts him over 100 yards now for the day.
Throwing now is Allen. He completes it to Evans. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do in that one is a receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Allen. And he whips that one incomplete there.
All right, that one fell incomplete there, but the best quarterbacks, they'll miss on 40% of their throws, somewhere in that neighborhood, similar to a great hitter in baseball who's going to fail 7 out of 10 times and still have a great year. In this case, you want perfection, but way better that it hits the ground instead of going to an opposite color jersey.
He gets this complete to Shaheen, the tight end. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. Here's Bradley Pinion now, as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20.
At their own 20-yard line.
Here we go.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by Casey Hayward. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line. On first down, Allen. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Finding room inside the 40. And finally taken down at the 34. It's a gain of 20 as we wind down near 20 seconds left in the quarter. So after the run by Kamara, now another 1st and 10. Allen. And he is going to be taken down. And that should be the final play of this third quarter.
I think normally we would talk about this more with basketball players and football players, but let's adopt it in this case. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Had the interception earlier, now a sack. But he just needs a touchdown for the trifecta.
That's about all he needs, and he's going to go for it.
Allen's throw is complete. A good pickup there, 18 yards as they get closer for 3rd down. Still throwing the football here, even with the big lead.
Yeah, I know you and I came up in a different era, and we think about sportsmanship and all that. Other people think about fantasy points and getting their numbers. That's all they care about right now.
Now on 3rd and 2, they're going to like to throw with Allen. Letting one go. And that is caught. Touchdown, Buffalo. In for the score. And the Bills will add on to their lead. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line.
Here we go.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
First play of the drive, a success, 19 yards. Took just one play to move all the way to the 44 as they try again on first down. Well, they'll run it here on the Jets sweep. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. Now Garoppolo on the bootleg. And now Garoppolo lost the football. Now this is picked up by the Bills. There he goes left side. And this is going to be brought back for a Bills touchdown. So the defense forces the fumble. They get the score. And a guy on defense becoming offensive there, Charles.
And you know they love that. Any guy on defense loves to pick up the ball and have it in his hands and try and score himself. In this case, that's exactly what happened.
We'll be singing in the shower post-game. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
Here we go.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. And they weren't on the sidelines for long, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad you and I weren't down there. We could hear them, the coaches from all the way up here. They were adamant, you've got to hold on to the football or else we have no hope.
Yeah, it's easy for me to laugh sitting up here, but you're exactly right. If we were down there, that message would have been received a whole different way. Because turnovers, they've been a big problem for them. Got to take care of the football. Got to hold on to it.
This one caught by Crowder. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Give him 12 yards there, and the Jets have a first.
Nice game there, partner, but you and I both know that won't do anything for the final score. They're not going to win this one. Right now, they're playing for pride and fantasy points.
And just to erase that goose egg, nobody wants to be shut out.
49's the mic. 49's the mic.
Garoppolo on first down. And a big loss here as he's taken down. The defensive end, Danielle Hunter, drops him. Now then, after the sack, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for 2nd and 23. The Jets are going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Now then, after the sack, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for 2nd and 23. Looking to throw, Garoppolo. That's incomplete. Nearly another pick. My goodness. Just nothing there again. He's been sacked multiple times. We've seen the interceptions, of course. He's really been through the ringer, hasn't he?
And what we've seen is a defense that's well coordinated. The front and the back really in sync. The front putting on the pressure, the backside being ball hawks and picking passes off.
Airing it out, looking for Ridley. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield.
Let's go.
Buffalo offense ready to go for their next drive. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When you go to the backup, let him get some time. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. So it's Bills football here as we get you reset. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
Crowder now to return. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And the Jets will take over 1st and 10.
Here we go.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget.
And he's going to be taken down. Sacked back at the 2.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. So the sack of Garoppolo. And now what can they come up with on 3rd and long? Looking to throw. Garoppolo. And Anderson's got it. And they're able to bring him down at the 20. It'll be a gain of 17, but even with that, they'll be well short here for 4th down.
I don't know how many times, not just in my playing career, but you and I working together, have we ever heard a coach say, you know, I just don't have that play on my call sheet. And that's really what we had here. That was a big hole they were trying to get out of.
Yeah, big gain, still a ways to go, though. So it's a victory here for the Buffalo Bills. And I tell you what, Charles, this might...
ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Get ready, dog.
This be the green light. Go. Tires burn the pavement. People wanna know when Mace, Posse, and Dave went. Still here, still in your ear with a style so hot. You'll see where all the sun rays went. Legs, arms, and head, all being moved in a frenzy. The blends be all the right cred. Meaning